to rejection. I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. The chances are quite unlikely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it.
Good morning, Knicks universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew on this Monday, March 4th. Like always, I'm your guy, Hector, hanging out with my compañeros this morning. I got my guy, Phil Porto. I got my guy, Celso. And I got my guy, Eddie Presti. And all you Knicks fans, wake up and get your coffee. How we doing?
This is probably the prettiest backdrop I've ever. I know it's blurry, but you know, in the Airbnb, it's all like pretty. It's so Art Deco-y. But I'm excited, man. I'm glad we got that win last night. I know we got a lot to talk about because, man, we all had a heart attack a minute into the game. Eddie, I can imagine what the Twitter spaces were like last night for you, bro.
Well, it wasn't actually that bad because one person from Big Knicks Energy came on the spaces, and he was like, he got a text, and he said that I could almost confirm that the injuries news is not going to be that bad. So once I heard that, I was a little bit relieved. He also said that the Knicks did leave Cleveland last night, so we should get some Brunson news today because if they're in New York right now, he's going to probably get that MRI. So we'll see.
Well, hopefully we get some news later on today. So make sure you hit that notification button and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned to all the news that drops. And I know we're on vacation, right? And I know that we're at an Airbnb, but it never fails. It never fails. It's like a clock is a broken clock is right twice a day. And with that being said, Phil just unmuted his mic for the first time since we're on this stream. Yay!
So there's a reason. As soon as the show went live, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it sounds like Darth Vader's in my room. Do you hear this?
No.
Okay.
That's only you. You're the only
There's
person
some
that hears
noise. I'm right next to the laundry room. So all of a sudden, as soon as you said, wake up and get your coffee, it was like, and I was like, oh, right. Like,
look, Teresa has it in the chat. The Woj post notification's been on since Julius. Absolutely, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa, thanks for the assist. I saw her the other day. She tagged Ben Stiller for me on my tweet. So way to go, Teresa. You want to do a roll call? Heck, let's
do a little bit of a roll call. Let's shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to Teresa. Chris N is in the building. My guy, Chris, how you doing? Future Yankees in the building. On Dios NYK. Knicks are nice is in the building. The top moderator of all the moderators that are out there is our guy, Blood of the Panther. I just want to let everybody know we got different moderators that are a part of the channel, that are a part of the stream. But always know, Blood of the Panther and DSJ are the only managing moderators that we have. Everybody else are standing mods. Blood of the Panther is a managing mod. Shout out to my guy, Blood of the Panther, who is in the building as well. Danny Landis is in the building. My guy, Danny Landis, how you doing? King Ribby is in the building. NFE says, Hector looking like Brett the Hitman Hart. Absolutely. I got my vacation shades on. I only bring these shades out special occasions. CT Pittman is in the building. Savage NYC is in the building. Mr. Merch So Saucy is in the building. Julian Blum, Dripmore. And like we always say, guys, if you guys don't mind, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And if you guys can help us out, buy us some coffees. It helps us out when it comes to getting us to these events that we have lined up this week. We appreciate the super chats, but if you guys can go to buymeacoffee.com/morningbrewsports, we're able to keep more of the donations than YouTube. YouTube keeps 30%. Buy Me a Coffee keeps 5%. So we appreciate all you guys. Celso, key everything up. Let's go. Let's get this conversation.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna do this one for me and for Pudge in the chat there because I want to start off with a little bit of my boy, the Chenzo Gang, Big Ragu. How could you not be in love with this man, guys? I mean, another Dante performance. Love what this kid brings to the team. Eddie, I'll start with you, bro. How are we feeling about Dante last night, bro?
He looked good. He looked good last night, man. It wasn't just him either. From what they had left on that team, to me, I was impressed with Deuce. Obviously, 47 minutes from him. I believe he was 4-7 from the three. So I was impressed with that. Obviously, Josh Hart triple-double. But all Precious was great. Hart looked good. Hart looked the best I've seen him since he came back last night. And shout out to Sims and shout out to the whole crew. They showed up. Brunson went down that first minute, and everybody just elevated themselves. So I was proud of them last night. I was proud of the group last night. I think Jiggas. Am I the only one still talking? I think they're frozen. Yeah. I think I'm the only one that's not frozen right now. Yeah. Well, the whole again, I don't know what's going on here, so we'll see. I don't know what's going on. Maybe here we go.
Yeah, the internet. We had a blackout in the house, so the internet is down. I'm not sure if you can hear me. You can hear me, Eddie?
You're good. You're good. Everybody froze. I don't know what the hell happened. Then something like I froze.
No. No, but going back to the Dante DiVincenzo conversation, this is why Blood of the Panther said this is why we need super chats and cups of coffee. Absolutely. No, but the guys, they'll be coming back and joining us. When it comes to Dante last night, from the beginning of the game, right? Yes, 90 seconds into it, Jalen Brunson went out. But from the beginning of the game, you could tell that Dante DiVincenzo was coming into last night's game with a purpose. And with Jalen Brunson going down, he showed you that he could step up and he could get you points in big time minutes.
Yeah, he was great in the first and the third quarter. He went off. He went a little cold in the second quarter, but look at man. Again, that was a team win last night because everybody had to step up and everybody did. So I was impressed with that win, man. I didn't think they were gonna had a chance to win that game, but this is where you got to give Tibbs credit because Tibbs actually, came through, the next man up mentality. Everybody got motivated. So it was a big win for me. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely was. And 90 seconds, like I said, 90 seconds into the game, Jalen Brunson goes down. Knicks fans, we start panicking. Shout out to my guy Al Centrone. I was on the radio last night, and he was saying if this is an Achilles injury, the season's over, right? And I would hate to see the excitement that we had in the month of January get washed down the drain because of an injury. If we go to the postseason and we get outclassed by another team, so be it. Let that be the way that we lose, right? Don't let it be injuries being the reason why this season goes down the drain. Phil, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. That was crazy, bro. Like that was absolutely nuts. So Eddie, thanks for holding it down for those few minutes. I took a Nutella cookie break while we were there. Went and got a Nutella cookie. That was great. But power's back. We're back. But when it comes to the game, one thing that I'm so thankful for is we've been able to find, one of my favorite movies growing up was Aladdin. And I remember like us not really having the money immediately to see it in theaters. So we actually had like a bootleg version that my mom found on the black market in New York. And we watched it bootleg first. And then we liked it good enough to save up and we went to the movies to go see it. But my favorite thing there was finding the diamond in the rough, like finding something that others might not have seen as valuable, might not have seen as worthwhile, might not have seen the value in. And being able to see the fact that we were able to find that diamond in the rough in Dante DiVincenzo was huge. You know, like he was a rotation player at max, you know, and when we got him into our starting lineup, there was a lot of people that didn't know if he would actually be able to sustain it. You know, we were immediately looking for trades for that position. But since he's come into the starting lineup, he has made such a huge impact. And when you have a guy like him that sees his best friend go down and says, yo, I got this, you know, that's huge. So
I got my vacation shades on, CP the artist. Okay, this is why they're on. All right, shout out to my guy CP.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to say was like being able to see Dante step up has been huge. Like anyone who did not want Dante here, like that narrative should definitely be dead by now.
Yeah, and also when you bring up Dante, right? When you bring up both Dante and Hart, these are two guys that this is the first time in their career in the NBA that they're giving you starter level minutes. These are guys that they're used to coming off of the bench. They're not used to being starters on a day in and a day night basis. Heck, they're not used to being starters under Tom Thibodeau, who runs you 40 to 42 minutes a game. So it's good to see Hart and it's good to see Dante DiVincenzo coming back healthy because you can see what they can do when you have to lean on them. And they've been very productive. The injuries that they've had this season, Hart with the Achilles, Dante with the calf. Those are all stamina issues, right? Those are all injuries that come with not having enough stamina to make it through an entire season. So seeing Dante and Hart, yeah, they got injured and sit down and they had to rest up, but it was a great showing for both of them, especially when Jalen Brunson went down. You never want to see any of your starters go down, especially your top guys in Jalen and Julius Randle. But when the other guys can step up in their absence, I know it was against the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell, but they still stepped up in the absence of Jalen.
Yeah, man, I think if we learned anything last night, we learned that McBride is officially the backup point guard. I mean, that last night we found out that Tibbs can adjust and will adjust, and he gave McBride 47 minutes last night, and he played out of his, he played out of his mind last night. So that's big for me because Burks only got 11 minutes, especially being so shorthanded. I'm happy about that. So that's one question we got answered, and we got the answer to. So that was cool.
And 8 points in 11 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field. He wasn't out there. He wasn't 2 of 12, 2 of 14, 2 of 16, 2 of 6 from the field. I'm good with that from Alex Burks. This is when Alex Burks starts throwing up and chucking up shots, and he's not hitting them, and he goes 3 of 11, 4 of 12. That's when it starts to get alarming and concerning when it comes to Burks. But when you look at the box score, complete box score from last night, you got Bojan 30 minutes. When was the last time Bojan came off of the bench and gave us 30 minutes? Tibbs been trying to limit Bojan and get him used to that role of just coming off of the bench. So to see Bojan last night with 30 minutes and 20 points as well, I think that's a good sign.
That was one of Bojan's better games, right? That was one of his better games. The fact that he put up 20. We're going to need that moving forward. We're going to need Bojan to step up in the meantime while Brunson's out. We're going to need him to give us some points because he wasn't crushing it from the three. I think he was 1 of 7 or something like that from the three, but his mid-range was on point last night. So I'd like to see him get a little bit more comfortable and start hitting those threes. I think once that happens, I think the Knicks are in business, man. I think the Knicks are in business again.
He was 1 of 6 from the 3-point line, but when you look at his regular field goal percentage from the mid range, the boy was, I'm doing the math right now, he was 7 out of 9 from mid range.
There you go.
7 out of 9. We got a super chat right here from our guy Double A, who helps us keep the lights on because we had blackouts and the Wi-Fi's go off. But Double A says, see you guys Wednesday, crew. Tibbs is still a minutes maniac. Absolutely. When it comes to Tom Thibodeau. Phil, I want to throw it over to you, though. Outside of Dante from last night's game, let's talk about Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart, he gets a lot of beat up and a lot of criticism tossed his way by some Knicks fans because of his contract, and they don't like his contract. But Josh Hart, he stepped up, and they put it in the chat. Grabbing Donovan Mitchell's chain after knocking down that 3-point shot. Speak on that, Phil.
Yeah, here's the thing. I understand why people have gripes, complaints, Josh Hart, whatever. But when you're having those gripes and complaints is when Josh Hart is playing out of his role. When Josh Hart is able to play in his role, he is that glue guy that we do not win games like this without him. Like when he is in his element, that's when he takes confident shots. Like look at that step to the side 3-pointer he took last night. There's my son. What up? What up, Jonah? You gotta salute the chat. No, all right. And so those step to the side threes, stuff like that comes with confidence with Josh Hart. And Josh Hart gets that confidence when we allow him to play his best kind of basketball. And so those hustle plays, the fact that like up until the last minute, Josh Hart is going to play basketball. If you want to talk about anything, talk about the fact that that guy does not stop until the buzzer is, beating. Like that's not something you see in a lot of players. There's a lot of players that give up or they get too confident and a minute's left in the game and they start to slack. Josh Hart is not that guy, which is why by the end of this episode, we will be releasing our glue guy, Josh Hart hoodies and shirts, finishing up as actually in the background, finishing up that design right now. But to me, I said it and it's funny because like on Facebook and TikTok and all that, it gives you like you're a year ago or this, that, or whatever, this time, whatever. And when we got the Josh Hart signing, it was game 1 and it popped up on my timeline where I talked about, when someone comes out and wears number 3 as a huge John Starks fan and then as a Marbury fan, that means a lot to me. Do not step out of the court and wear number 3 and not wear it proudly. And after that first game, I released a short for the good, the bad, and the ugly talking about Josh Hart deserves to wear number 3. And if he plays like that, we are a different team. And I still believe that to this day. So people that have a problem with Josh Hart and his contract, it's crazy to me because, yes, it's $80 million off the bench, but it's also games that would be blown without him. Our record would not be what it is without the hustle of Josh Hart and others hustle around him because they see that in him.
Yeah.
Well, he had 5 points last night. He had 5 points in the last 5 minutes. Obviously, that big 3 over Evan Mobley, that was pretty much the icing on the cake right there. Listen, man, he's not the best shooter in the world. I get it. Nope. Josh Hart, he's not. But he wasn't bought here to be a shooter, all right? He's bought here to be the glue guy. We'll be seeing that on a T-shirt by the end of this episode. But that's what he was bought here to do. That's it.
Yeah, no, CP is a clown. When it comes to Josh Hart, right? He has that one tool that you can't teach. It's a one skill that some players have it and some players don't. Josh Hart, he may not be in the NBA because he's the greatest shooter in the world or the greatest athlete in the world. His heart and his defense and the intangibles is why Josh Hart is in the NBA. And credit to Josh Hart. He said that at the All-Star break, he wanted to get better when it comes to the 3-point shooting. And since the All-Star break, when you look at the numbers, he has been shooting at a better clip now than what he was prior to the All-Star break. So you got to give him some type of credit when it comes to that. He has a certain motor. Like Phil said, he is a glue guy, and he is the perfect glue guy to have with this team. Look at last night. Perfect example. 19 rebounds plus 10 assists. You would think, okay, cool. He probably has close to 20 points. No, it was 13 points. That was the most random triple-double, and he got it. And also, shout out to Al Cintron. I got Theo Al, who put a bet down on Josh Hart to get that triple-double, and he walked away with plus 900. So shout out to my guy, Theo Al. And like Celso says, if you guys can run up the like button, smack that like button, and hit the subscribe button. We are at 3,444 subscribers on our way to 4K. So help us out by hitting the like button and giving us a subby.
And buying us a coffee, please. We're very broke.
Why?
Network.
Why, Eddie? Let them know.
We are
why?
A very broke, poor, and pathetic network. We have no
I don't know
money
about pathetic.
Yo, speak for yourself, my guy.
I don't know about pathetic.
It's a pathetic network. Come on, we saw the pros go on earlier today. I mean, that's all. It speaks volumes. That's all you gotta know.
Yeah, when the Wi-Fi goes out in the Airbnb, when you lose power like that. Double A says Starks needed to turn into number 3. After that, 2-18 games, 7 loss. He cost us a championship. Both Harper and Blackman, 22 points. Lost game 6, trying to shoot over Akeem. Shout out to Double A, always in the chat. And we got over 100 people rocking out with us. Nice. So smack the like button. When it comes to Jalen Brunson, a little bit of an update. Tom Thibodeau came out last night. It's basically the same update from last night. Tom Thibodeau said Jalen Brunson has a knee contusion. X-rays were negative. I think the Knicks, we dodged the bullet because with the way that he grabbed at his ankle, the way that he grabbed at his leg, I for sure thought it was an Achilles injury. Yeah. That's the first thing that popped into my head. And whenever you think Achilles, you could automatically know that this season is gone and maybe next season it would have been gone. But we dodged the bullet, and I'm going to throw it over to you, Phil. Lead the convo when it comes to that.
Yeah, for me, that was a very scary thing. So I didn't get to watch the game live. I was shooting an event for Jack Daniels, which was awesome, but I did miss the game live. So I came home after just seeing the score before catching up on the game, and Hector was like, Brunson went down, and my jaw dropped. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we beat the Cavs, yet Josh Hart went down. He was like, yeah, Josh Hart went down in the first 90 seconds of the game. And so I rewatched it over and over and over right there. And it was scary. Anytime someone gets walked off the field, walked off the court, your heart starts to panic out. And I said field because it did give me, as a Jet fan, those Aaron Rodgers, oh crap, first play of the game, and our main guy is down type vibes. And I was worried. So to hear it was a contusion, but the more and more I watched it, it was like, this is weird, because like, if you look at it, it's not like he came down and there was the injury. Like you saw the pain when he went up. Right. And that was the weird thing, like I've never seen, like the instantaneous feeling of, oh, something's going wrong as the shooter's going up in the air. So that was a little bit crazy to watch. But I'm glad to hear it's not as major as, it could have been, but it is so concerning. Like all of our guys are dropping like flies. We get one back, we lose one, I just want to see us healthy. And that's starting to feel like a freaking pipe dream at this point, is to actually see a full healthy Knicks roster.
And when you brought up Aaron Rodgers, I'll just say this one thing. I'll throw it over to you, Eddie. The reason why I immediately went to that injury and thought of Achilles is because Jalen Brunson was basically holding his same ankle and his leg the same way that Aaron Rodgers was. So that's why I thought Achilles initially when I saw the injury. Yeah. And when you rewatch the video, right, you see him going like circling around. Dante is at the top. He it's like he collides with Hart's knee. Yes. They hit head on. And when he comes back around, he's stumbling a little bit. And as he gathers is when his knee gave out on him. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. I don't know if Brunson got hurt on that screen that Hart set, which I think he might have. I think that he might have hit a nerve or something like that. And he just hit it in a messed up way. And like what we were watching, because I watched this play probably 115 times, as soon as he went up, you could see, it was clear as day, something happened. Yeah. So again, let's hope it's not a meniscus, not an Achilles. If it's just something like a nerve or something along those lines, we are good. It's going to be a week tops. But if it's structural, it's going to be a whole different story. It pretty much the season's going to be over. So let's just hope and pray that Jalen Brunson is okay, man. Here we go.
Oh, God. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, God. And shout out to the producer with the nice producing work backstage.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I think I have the audio from Tom Thibodeau real quick if we want. I'll play this audio real quick from Tibbs. And we'll come back. Hold on, let me just key this up real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
what the injury is? A knee contusion. So he had X-rays and negative. So that's where it is. I didn't see the play. So I know he bumped knees. That's what happened.
Bump knees.
They just did X-ray, and everything was negative. So
It's encouraging. I mean, because at least when we were, it could be scary the way he was like.
yeah, I think anytime someone goes down like that, you have concern. So, but then he felt a little better. He got the X-rays. He was examined by the doctors, and so that news is good.
Is that possible? Like this Tuesday possible?
I guess. We got to see. It's a knee contusion, and everything was negative. So we'll see where he is tomorrow.
Do you know what changed when he was questionable and then he was ruled out? Did something happen with him different?
I don't know. So I was unaware. Like they just told me he was being examined and back. So we wanted to make sure we did the X-ray. So I don't know what transpired. We were waiting on that, and then we just thought it was best to, sit him out the rest of the game because he had been sitting for quite a while.
So, it seems like Knicks just wanted to take proper precautions, and you're supposed to, right? So for what it's worth, like Teresa just put in the chat, for what it's worth, glad to see that the X-rays came back negative, but you don't want to see your guy being helped off the court, especially 90 minutes into a game against a team that you faced in the postseason last year. And that's what happened in the first game. So it was an alarming, it was scary. I know Knicks Twitter, it was scary for a moment. We were able to get the window and we were able to get some good news back. So bright spot here, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is what I've said before, and I'll say again, is it seems like our team has kind of stumbled into opportunities over and over and over again. Like we stumbled into finding out that Hartenstein is a great center. We stumbled into being able to see that Dante DiVincenzo can actually be a starter. We stumbled into seeing that Precious Achiuwa is actually a freaking baller. And I feel like last night we stumbled into some opportunities for Miles McBride. For me, one of the highlights of that game was watching him cross over Mobley. And Mobley looking like Bambi trying to walk for the first time because his knees buckled and he went down. And so being able to see some of these things kind of happen, because look at what, even in our first episode where McBride, started coming off the bench as the backup point guard. People were like, he doesn't have handles. And we were like, we know he doesn't, but this is something that's got to get developed. This is something that's going to take time, be something that has to get polished. Well, last night, that move, even in slow-mo, that was some handles. Like he straight took him his way and that way, and it was beautiful. Am I saying that Miles McBride is like 6th man of the year candidate for like point guard? No, but I'm saying we're seeing him develop into something more and polishing some of those things that we as a fan base might have had questions or concerns about. So for me, that was a big opportunity for him, and he didn't disappear. That's one thing that, like, as much as, I don't have animosity or hatred towards Burks, he gets opportunity and just forces it. Like Miles McBride took opportunity last night and he handled it the way that you need to handle it, like getting 16 points, but that wasn't the only thing. But like his, percentage was good. He was still able to get 5 assists. He was still able to do things that we hadn't seen him do. So I got to tip my hat to the young guy, for putting in that work and us being able to watch it before our eyes.
Yeah, and when you look at it, you know how many minutes he played last night?
47.
47 minutes. 47 minutes. So basically he's just 1 minute that was unaccounted for the entire game. Deuce McBride, 47 minutes. Josh Hart, 45 minutes. Tom Thibodeau has to lean on his guys right now in the absence of the guys that are not there, and they are stepping up when they are being called upon. Right? You may not want to see in clutch crunch time minutes in the postseason, Deuce McBride out there, but hopefully you feel comfortable after seeing last night that if he is asked to step up in the postseason, or if he's asked to step up towards the end of the season, at least you're comfortable now knowing that maybe he can do it, right? Because at the beginning of the year, I don't think any of us had any of this confidence in Deuce McBride that we have right now. He is knocking down his open three-point shots. Even when it comes to the one criticism we've given him since January, since that trade, his dribbling. He went out there and he put Evan Mobley on his ass last night. So shout out to Deuce de Leche, a.k.a. Deuce McBride, for stepping up in the absence of Jalen Brunson. 47 minutes. If you guys are going out there and you guys are going to play the fourth numbers in New York City, play 47 for Deuce McBride and play 45 for Josh Hart. 47, 45 straight, no money line.
Yeah, and look, man, we got an answer to a question that we were all asking. Who's the backup point guard on this team? And last night we found out it's officially Deuce McBride. So I think that's my one takeaway. You know, even though it was a horrible night last night, I couldn't concentrate during the whole game. But my one takeaway was, well, we know who the backup point guard is, and it's Deuce McBride. And that shout out to Tibbs for that, because that was something we all were questioning, but we finally got the answer.
Yeah.
Now we got to talk about
a little bit crazy. One thing that's a little bit crazy is like we win a game like that, you know, and the post game happens with the other team. And instead of just like, you know, one thing I love about Jalen Brunson or, you know, like even if it was like OG or Precious getting interviewed, is if we were to lose that game, Dante, same thing, the responsibility that's taken, you know, like we just got to do better. I got to be better. Like how many times have you heard that from Jalen Brunson when we lose a game? Yeah. Like he doesn't say anything else. He says, I got to be better. I dropped the ball. You know, I could have done this or that better. Well, then you go interview Mobley, and he has the excuse that stoppage in the game that early ruined the momentum, ruined some of their energy. And I'm like, what the frick? Our star point guard, after we have our number 2 and our number 3 already injured, our number 1 point guard goes out at the start of the game, and it's your momentum that was screwed up? Like it was your momentum when now we have a point guard who hasn't played more than 20 minutes, 25 minutes or whatever for McBride, is now pretty much playing the whole rest of the game, and it was your momentum that was screwed up? Like we still won the game, and it was our momentum that was screwed up. Like our whole game plan, our main guy went down, and yet you're using that stoppage as an excuse for why you guys, you know, fell out of rhythm. That to me is crazy. Like, I just don't understand stuff like that, bro.
If I am a fan of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you guys let me know if I'm off base when it comes to this, but if I'm a fan of the Cleveland Cavs, I'm calling into their number 1 sports talk show, or their number 2 sports talk show, and I'm screaming that we have to trade Evan Mobley. How is it that your corner piece, your future franchise player, says you lost the game because the other team best player was taken out of the game and the stoppage of the game threw you off of your game? If I'm a Cavs fan, I am livid right now, and I want this man traded in the offseason. That cannot be an acceptable excuse. Phil, if that happened with us, right? If Jalen Brunson came out, or if Julius Randle came out and said, I put them to a side. If RJ Barrett came out and Emmanuel quickly came out when they were here and they said, oh, we lost the game because Luka Doncic went out in the first 90 seconds and it threw us off. I couldn't get back into rhythm because the stoppage of the game. Knicks fans would have lost their mind. Are you kidding me?
Think about it. When we lost the game to the Heat and Julius Randle came out in that interview and said, I guess they just wanted it more.
Yes.
The whole fan base crucified him. Because that should never be an excuse that they wanted it more, or that there was, you know, any kind of excuse. So for Mobley, yeah, if I'm a Cav fan, I'm saying, what the frick are you talking about? Like something like their player going down, that should be like fuel to your fire. Like you should be able to play like the frickin' Eastern All-Stars now, you know, because they don't have their main 30-plus scorer on the floor anymore. So yeah, that to me is just crazy.
You know what it is? We just have their number. The Knicks have the Cavs number. That's really what this comes down to.
Do you think it's just a mental game now at this point, Eddie?
I do. I just think we have their number. And I thought maybe last night's game was going to be a little different just because of how good the Cavs have been since the new year. But again, we're just seeing it. We have their number, and now they're up to making excuses. Bullshit excuses at that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You say that that's some soft shit, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Mobley is this young kid, and granted, right, you know, maybe he still needs some development, but rookie of the year, right? People were comparing him in regards of like Kevin Garnett or one of the best power forwards in the league for years to come. With that mentality, you're not going to be one of the best power forwards in the league for years to come. If your excuse is, well, yeah, Jalen Brunson went out and the stoppage of the game really took me out of my rhythm and I couldn't find my rhythm.
And fellas,
granted, rhythm is a thing in the NBA, but it's literally just the first 60 to 90 seconds of the game. You're not talking about it happened at halftime and you couldn't find your rhythm. And literally at the beginning of the game.
And the game was pretty much we were ahead at that time too, I'm pretty sure. So it's not like they came in and all of a sudden, you know, like they were on top and then this happens and all of a sudden now our team is doing better. Like, that's not how it happened at all. So that's just weird to me.
I want to take a pause real quick before we get into the next conversation. We got to talk about who the Knicks just signed, Shake Milton or whatever. So I'll throw that to Eddie to lead the conversation and Eddie throw it over to Phil. But before we do that, we got over 120 people rocking with us out right now. If you guys are watching us on Instagram, Facebook, or on Twitter, click the link in the bio and jump on over to YouTube because the YouTube familia is going crazy. We got over 120 people in the building. So if you guys can, please smack that like button for your boys. Go ahead, Mr. Eddie Presti. You fine, handsome son of a gun.
All right. Look, man, on Shake Milton, just everybody temper your expectations with this guy. This guy's no savior. He's not some great player. He's basically lost his job pretty much everywhere he's gone. He hasn't been very good. Like he was an impactful player, 2-3 years ago. He had good, numbers with the defensive win shares, offensive win shares, if you're into that sort of thing. But, this year he's basically like just a replacement player. That's what he is. Mm-hmm. He's a guy he's more of a shooting guard than he is a point guard. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just get the whole point guard thing. Knicks fans, get that out of your head. He is much more of a shooting guard than a point guard. He could play some defense, but this guy's he's like going to play the role of Evil Dante. He's going to be that Malachi Flynn role. Yeah. He's not going to get a lot of minutes. He's not going to be a savior. But look, we have nobody available last night and probably against this game, versus Atlanta. So we need all the help we could get right now. So again, temper your expectations. Shake Milton is not a savior. He's a body. He's a warm body. He'll give you, he'll give you some minutes, maybe some quality minutes. He can play some defense. So we'll see.
I got a hot take right now, right? And you just let me know if I'm off. Shout out to Samuel Cortez that's in the chat. Me and Mano de la Isla. How you doing, baby? But I got a hot take. With Jalen Brunson getting injured the first 60 seconds, 90 seconds of the game, I brought it up. Deuce McBride played 47 minutes. Alec Burke, he only played 11 minutes last night. Could this Shake Milton signing be a signing? Because I don't think Tom Thibodeau in the front office has any faith in Alex Burke. And those 11 minutes that Burks is getting could be split up into see what Shake has. Because like you said, Shake, he is a better shooting guard. He is 6'5". And with Deuce McBride emerging as a solid backup option, that backup shooting guard spot could be up in the air for grabs for either Alec Burke or for Shake Milton right now when he comes in. Like I said, Tom Thibodeau, we've known him for leaning heavily in years past on Alec Burke. The fact that he played Deuce McBride 47 minutes and Alec Burks only 11 minutes, that right there goes to show me that Alec Burks has fallen out of the favoritism when it comes to Tom Thibodeau. And the Shake Milton signing, it could be an insurance plan just in case that Alex Burks thing doesn't work out over here.
And one thing that I think is really, really awesome.
Hey, shout out to Shanti.
Appreciate you always.
Buying us
Shanti.
3 coffees. Yo. Appreciate you, Shanti, in the chat. And if there's anybody else out there, if you guys can help us out while we are out here in Tampa for spring training, buy us a coffee. Make sure you send us to the best team that's in Florida, and that's the New York Yankees, not the New York Mets. Go fuck yourself, Eddie.
Yo, anyway, that was a hot take. So one thing that, like, you know, I have to give a shout out also, like, is if Tibbs is actually willing to part with what we thought, you know, like a lot of us were concerned, and honestly, he was feeding into our concern those first few games, like putting them, you know, putting Burks in at these ridiculous minutes and seeing him not produce over and over again. Like outside of game 1, it's been a pretty rough stretch, you know, with Burks so far. So it would be a salute to Tibbs for real if Tibbs was able to go, yeah, this is my guy, but at the end of the day, we're winning, and I can't afford us not to win. Like I need to think of the team before, you know, my camaraderie with a team, with a player, and that would be something that would be, you know, a growth in Tibbs again. You know, like we saw it where he sat down Randle at certain parts of the season, and all of us had a heart attack. Like, wait, this can't happen. Like I didn't know. I thought this was like parental lock, you know, for the Knicks. You know, you can't do that. You know, you're forbidden. You need the passcode. But this would be another one of those. So shout out to him, you know, if he's willing to look at those options, because if he wasn't looking at them, there would be no reason to sign Shake Milton in the first place.
Yeah, and like they said, who would have thought an old dog could learn new tricks? So shout out to Tom Thibodeau. If he is making these adjustments right now in this stage of his career, he is at the end of his career. He's not in the middle, he's not at the beginning, but at the end of his career, in his late 60s, about to be in his 70s, he is making these adjustments, and he is listening to the coaches that are around him. He is listening to Rick Brunson. He is listening to Johnny Bryant. So shout out to Tom Thibodeau for finally changing things up later on in his life.
Yeah, man, he's cleaning things up. Tibbs has earned an extension at this point, and we can all sit here and say whatever, but he's earned an extension. You know, I know he's not perfect, but he's been showing that he's willing and able to adjust, and he's putting the best people out there and putting us in the best position to win. And that's something we couldn't always say as Knicks fans. Now, you notice any little change, any guy goes cold or things like that, Tibbs adjusts. So I give Tibbs a lot of credit there.
And we're sitting at 55 likes right now, right? We have over 120 people in the building. 110 people are watching us on YouTube. If you guys can run the likes up, just smack the likes up for you guys. When we get to 80 or 90 likes on the stream, we will drop the link for the open panel so everybody can join the conversation. But I want to switch things up, right? Because I know we showed this earlier. Shout out to our guy, Jerry Ferrara, but he put this out on X last night. He said, don't kid yourself. No one, and I mean no one, wants to see the New York Knicks team at full strength. Come up with every reason why they can't be an elite team. Those teams want nothing to do with them at full health. Don't know if we will see them that way, though. And that's the thing. We're going to have this conversation right now when it comes to the New York Knicks and their health. It is the key thing, because I've said this. I feel if the New York Knicks, if we are healthy with all of our guys rocking, I'm not scared of the Boston Celtics. I'm really not. If Isaiah Hartenstein is healthy, if Mitchell Robinson is coming off the bench as a backup center, I am not scared of Kristaps Porzingis and the Boston Celtics. I am not scared of Jason Tatum. The Celtics may have the best player on the court with Jason Tatum, but the second best player is Jalen Brunson. Now you got to ask yourself, what's the best team constructed around their best player? Is it the Boston Celtics or is it the New York Knicks? What's your thoughts, fellas?
I'm going to give Boston the benefit of the doubt just because they've been there over the last, 4 or 5 years.
Because of the Whites.
Well, no, nothing to do with the Whites. No, all serious. Look, they've been to the finals over the last few years, right? It hasn't been us. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But Hector, I'm with you to a degree. And I'm with Jerry, if this team's at full health and they're fully healthy, I believe that we could compete with them. Do I think we can beat them? I'm not sure yet because we haven't been really battle tested in postseason so far with this group. With this group, we have other guys that have been, on this team. But I'm with you. I think if things break right and we got all our guys back, I think we could compete with anybody. And that's Boston. That's anybody else. It is what it is. But again, it all comes down to health. And will these guys be back? That's all, that's the bottom line, man. If they're coming back, I agree. We could compete with anybody.
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I think the crazy part is that, like, we're having these conversations, and we really believe that we can compete, and I really do. But we have yet to see what this roster can even do. Like, we are, and I feel like that's also in our benefit because we've been this good without having a star-studded lineup at all. Like, we've never seen Jalen Brunson, like OG, Randle, and Precious all, at their peak where they're at now. Like where Precious actually found himself. We barely saw, any games where it was OG, Randle, and Brunson. That was a very, very short-lived stint, of basketball. So I think that, us being able to have these high hopes already without knowing what these players can do really speaks volumes of what we have here as the New York Knicks. I truly do believe that if not beating them, we could make Boston go to a 7-game series, like 7 games. And it would be down to the wire. But I do believe, here's one thing I will believe, is I do not believe anyone is as good in crunch time as Jalen Brunson on either team.
I'm right there with you.
At all. Like, so if it comes down to the final minute of a game in game 7, we're edging it out. Like, as much as I like, giving credit where it's due, and Tatum's a really, really good player, you've seen many times where Tatum has not been able to close it. Like, you've seen that a lot. And so the whole thing, like, he would be their closer. You lock him down, and they're done. Jaylen Brown is not going to bring it home for you. He's just not going to. He's not going to be that guy in the last few minutes that you really think is going to put the game on his shoulder. Like, you talk about in previous years, they've even said it as announcers. You cannot be this 1-2 powerhouse. And yet at the last few minutes of the game, there's no certainty of who's going to have the ball in their hands. That you're going to pass it off to each other because neither one of you are completely confident to bring it home. That's not what we have. Jalen Brunson can bring it home. And in worst case scenario, if they're going to double team him and Julius Randle is healthy, that's bully ball execution at its finest. You come out and you guard Jalen Brunson at the top of the key, double team him. Now Randle's able to bully ball no problem. OG's able to cut. Now we have more than enough threats in that last minute of the game. So for me, I would go with the Knicks in the final stretch.
Yeah, and when you look at the issues that Boston or that the Celtics are dealing with right now, you bring up the perfect example. They don't know what to do in the last few minutes of the game. They don't know if it should go to Jason Tatum or they don't know if it should go to Jaylen Brown. This is the same issue that the OKC Thunder had when it was just Westbrook and Kevin Durant. They didn't know who was going to take that last shot in the last seconds when the game on the line. Russell Westbrook wanted to be that person to do it, and we all know it should have been Kevin Durant. And when it comes to the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown wants to probably take that last second shot, but we all know that it should be Jason Tatum taking that last second shot for the Boston Celtics. I want to highlight some chats real quick before we switch things up to the next conversation. But our guys, Ron and John over at Still Knicks Fans, Ron, appreciate you. Boston is clearly the better team with better overall health, but I know that our Knicks can beat them if we have our full team. I watched my New York Giants defeat an undefeated team in the Super Bowl. Absolutely. And I brought that up specifically because we faced the Boston Celtics before the trade, opening night. We should have won that game. We've been neck to neck against the Boston Celtics all year, and they still haven't seen us yet with our newest squad and with everybody back healthy. When it comes to the team that we have, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, we want to see those guys, Jalen Brunson, we want to see those guys back now playing. But with them sitting out because of injuries, it allows Precious Achiuwa to build his confidence. It allows Josh Hart to build his confidence. It allows Dante DiVincenzo and every other backup player to build their confidence. Deuce McBride, Isaiah Hartenstein. So when we get to the postseason, pressure makes diamonds. And right now, our backup players are going through all the pressure that they need to become a diamond in the postseason. And I think that's the key right now. As much as we want to see our guys back, let's be real. That month of January, when we went 16-3, we were all sipping the Kool-Aid. We were jumping out of the window. Right. These injuries and going 6-8 or 7-8 in that time span without our players, we needed that so we can temper our expectations and come back to reality. Now, if we would have had that same momentum, how many Knicks fans would have been losing their minds in the month of February after going 16-3 in January and possibly 14-2 in February? I'm just saying, the injuries, yeah, they suck, but they could be a blessing in disguise when you look at resting the players we need to get to the postseason and getting experience for the bench players.
Yeah, well, listen, we're going to find out very soon where guys are. You know, in the next 2 weeks, we should get back OG. Within the next 3 weeks, we should get back Randle. And hopefully by the end of the month, we get back Mitch. And we also got our fingers crossed, hope that Jalen Brunson's leg or whatever it is okay. If that's the case, you know, we're on to something. And again, our guys have never played with Bogdanovich. They never played with Burks. These guys were brought in to be role players, not to be saviors. Okay.
Bingo.
So we don't even know what this team is capable of, but we know we could compete with anybody, especially if all our guys come back. Our bench is going to be a hitman. It's going to be a fucking hitman squad because, like you guys said, they've been playing under pressure. They've been playing tons of starter minutes, and they're going up against first units. That moves to the bench. Do you know how good they're going to be coming off the bench? We really might have something here. We really might. But again, everything has to break our way. Everything has to break our way in order for it to happen.
Yeah. So
Eddie.
I want to address something to my guy Double A because we typically rock, and he's talking about Boston. He's like, you're typically a sensible guy. We can't take Boston lightly. No one's saying take Boston lightly. However, what I'm saying is do not take our Knicks lightly either. Like, if you look at the last games that we played against them, yes, they beat us. He was saying they'll beat us by 20 in those games, this, that, whatever. Okay. If you look, they beat us by 14 in that last game, and we did not have OG or Randle, and they were at full health. Right. So they're not even beating us by 20 without two of our main three guys, and they had all of their guys available. So we were, without anybody, and that was one of the first few games with Bojan and Burks trying to figure things out. And then you look at the game before that, that was when we still had RJ and Quick, and they won by 10. So they have not been beating us more than, only I think 2 of the games that they've beaten us out of the 4 have been double-digit games, whatever. But they have not seen us at full health. No, every time we've seen them, they've been at full health. Like, here's the thing is there are teams that know that this Knicks team, if they are fully healthy, is an issue. And that's why you see games like when the Lakers play us, they sit out the game before, but then they make sure that they're playing their full roster against the Knicks because we do have a lot of weapons. So that was all pre-trade, most of those. The only one that was post-trade of the Alec Burks, OG, and Bojan was when OG and Randle are both injured. So, no, I do not believe it's going to be something that we take them lightly. but we also have to look at the actual facts. They've beaten us, but they've beaten a team that is not a complete roster in any way, shape, or form. We're looking at roster versus roster. If we are all healthy, do we think that we can beat the Celtics? Yes. Does that mean if Randle's still not there or if OG's still not there, that we still have that unwavering confidence? No. But it's the same thing that if you were to talk to a Boston Celtic fan, if Jalen Brown was to get injured and then they have to go against a Knicks team that is fully healthy, they're not going to have that same confidence that they have right now when they're looking at our, incomplete roster compared to their complete star-studded roster. So you have to look at it if everybody's healthy. And that's where I say I don't think that we will get blown out. And I think that if it goes to a 7-game series and it's tight, that we can win it.
Yeah.
The end of the season.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead.
Well, they've never seen our defense at full strength. They've never seen it. That the last game they went off, they won the game they won by 14. They went off in the third quarter. I think they shot 2% in that quarter, and that's where they beat us. But we didn't have our guys. If we had all our defenders, you think they're going to shoot 70% in the third quarter?
Way.
No chance.
No way.
No chance.
And we went out there, our front office at the trade deadline, when they traded for Mercer, Heck got the MLB the Shade glass. That's exactly what I got on right now.
That's what he's going for.
When our front office made that trade for OG Anunoby, they traded for OG so they could get someone to stop Jason Tatum. They traded for OG so they could have someone to stop Giannis Antetokounmpo. They traded for OG so they can have someone to stop Trae Young or Jimmy Butler if we meet them in the postseason again. So having a healthy OG Anunoby is the difference maker with this team, but it all comes down to health. I know we have concerns when it comes to Julius Randle, right? Granted, we should have concerns, but the one thing we should know is that wasn't his shooting shoulder that he injured. He shoots with his left. He's a lefty. It wasn't his left shoulder he messed up. That was his right shoulder. It may not harm Randle, but it may, box him in trying to come back, because we know Randle is a very physical player, right? He relies on that bully basketball. So he may not be as much of a bully down low player as he once was when he first comes back. But when it comes to his shooting, he is shooting right now. I think contact drills should be within the next week and a half, if not the next week. Julius Randle should be coming back. Because like I said, it wasn't his shooting shoulder that got messed up. It was his right shoulder. And we all know Julius Randle is a lefty.
Yeah.
Like Paris, he's not coming back as the old Randle because, like I said, Julius Randle relies heavily on bully ball. So when he first comes back, he may not be able to be as physically dominating as he once was early in the season. But when it comes to him shooting, I don't think he'll have any issues with his with the shooting. He got the undercover narco shades on. Hey, you got any? Shout out to my guy CP, the artist in the chat, and shout out to everybody who's rocking with us still. We got over 120 people still rocking with us. If you guys can, please smack that like button. We are sitting on 66 likes right now. Smack the like button, get us up to 70, and we'll drop the link for the open panel. I want to just talk about Boji real quick, right? Because we touched on him at the beginning of the game, but Knicks Muse put it out 7:30 p.m. Life is meaningless. The basketball gods have placed a lifelong curse on the New York Knicks and the franchise. 10:30 p.m. We're winning the damn NBA Finals because Bojan scored 20 points off the bench. How do you feel about Boji? I'll throw it over to you first, Phil, and then throw it over to Eddie. He's still trying to find his rhythm. He played 30 minutes last night. It's going to take some adjustments for him, especially he hasn't played with Julius. He hasn't played with OG, so it's going to take Bojan some time to adjust to this team. But what's your thoughts on Boji, his performance last night, and the success for him for the rest of the year?
Shout out to Boji. Here's the thing. I feel like when he plays the role that he's supposed to play, he will be great for us. Like when he's able to really fall into, that bench role and really fall into coming in and playing crucial minutes behind our actual main guys, he's going to shine even brighter. I think that where the issue is that game in, game out, it's going to be, a lot more on his shoulders than what he was brought in for and what he's used to, because he's coming off the bench, but he's still playing almost 31 minutes, like as a bench player, and so I think that, what we saw last night was incredible, and that's what I think is going to be more so the norm than those really, really rough nights, which is why when the Burks trade happened, I was just like, oh, hell, we lost our mind. And then I heard that Bogey was coming. I was like, oh, okay, we good. Like it balanced it out for me. So I think that he's going to be a really crucial piece for us down the playoff stretch, when he's able to come in and just play 20 to 25 minutes, and be able to just have 20 to 25 minutes where he can light up their bench. So I'm thankful for Bogey. I think he played a good game. I like being able to see him actually put the ball on the ground, which is something that, like, typically he's just a catch and shoot guy. But we've seen a few games now, including yesterday, him take it to the paint, like getting that foul or getting the bucket. And those are the things you want him to start testing out now before it gets into the playoffs. Like, if that's something that he can actually bring to the table and work out any kinks pre-postseason, let's do that. Let's do that now. Let's see what this guy's really capable of doing. And once again, shout out to the front office. Shout out to Tibbs. Because a lot of times, up until this year, guys came in and they were not able to test out different things in their arsenal. It was, you're a three-point shooter, shut up and shoot a three.
Right.
We're not seeing that now. You're not seeing Bogey put it on the ground and then timeout, Tim pulling them like he used to with a lot of players. He's
like Obi.
Guys, hey, too soon. We're able to actually see the things that these other players can bring to the table. And so I'm happy for that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Eddie.
Nah, look, man, with Bogey, it's all about him getting comfortable. It's all about him finding rhythm. This guy's he's a sniper from the three-point range. And we haven't seen that aspect of his game so far as a Knick. So the more and more he gets comfortable, the more and more he takes reps, the more and more he's going to be a better player and could be a bigger piece for us. Again, you see it with the three-pointers. He's kind of chucking them up there right now. He's not really in his comfort zone. But what we saw last night, we saw he could attack from the mid-range, okay? That he could go to the cup a little bit, that he could draw fouls. Those are all good things. And if, in my opinion, if OG comes back and Randle's going to take a little bit longer, I'm all for putting Bogey in the starting lineup.
Oh, of course you are. We get it.
No.
Yeah, shout out to the Whites. We know.
Out to the Whites. Yes, it's always shout out to the Whites.
No.
But in all seriousness, if you have OG can hide Bogey's lack of defense better, right? And you're just going to use him to help elevate Bogey until Randle comes back. You know what I'm saying? So listen, it's going to be a few games, but again, I like Bogey.
No, I just like giving Eddie the taste of his medicine, because I'd be giving takes and Eddie would be like, yeah, come the fuck on, come on.
Well, I do that
or he'll do this the whole time you're talking.
Okay.
Like and subscribe, blah blah blah.
There's a point that I wanted to bring up, right? My guy Nelson in the chat, and shout out to Nelson with a dope take. Nelson? He said, and also it's ironic. People punch down on the Knicks losing to good teams without everybody. Yet, when we beat good teams, banged up, it gets glossed over. Absolutely, Nelson. And that's the biasy when it comes to the coverage of this team. When the New York Knicks, we don't have everyone. We lose 6 out of 8 games, or we lose 8, whatever it was. The national media, the narrative change. Oh, the Cinderella story that was the Knicks, the fire sparked out. They're not the same. It was just a flash in the pan. A 1A. Listen, we were able to go 16-3 in the month of January. That allowed us to build the cushion that we have right now. You never want to lose 6 out of 8 games or whatever it is. But if you can lose 6 out of 8 games, but still maintain that 4th spot in the standings, you take that. That's why you build your big lead in the month of January. So when injuries happen, you can go through a 2 or 3 week period as we're going through right now. We're not losing any standings. We're not in the play-in. We're not the 7th. We're not the 8th seed. We are still the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference as of right now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So, again, I'm going to drop the link for the open panel. If anybody wants to come up to rock out with you guys, it's all good. We are sitting on 74 likes right now. If we can run the likes up to 100, I would definitely appreciate that. And like always, smack the subscribe button for your boys. When it comes to the schedule, right, Eddie, because I know you are a stickler for looking at the schedule and looking past the stories of
I've
the week.
went over the schedule.
You look ahead. I know, because we've gone over it. The good thing about it is that this past week, how many games we played? I think we played like 2 or 3 games in this week that just passed.
Yeah.
So we're getting some games spread out. Next week we got 2 games. I mean, this week we got 2 games, Tuesday and Friday. So that's a good time right now. And we got Soso back. Soso, you alive out there, bro? I keep hearing you getting beat up by toddlers. You good?
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I kicked them out of the house. Phil, your kids are gone. I'm just telling you now. All right. They're done. Just playing producer. Heck, got everything backstage. I see everybody in the building. The chat's been lit all morning. If you guys can run up the like button, smack it, hit the subby, hit the like. I see we got people jumping in backstage.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead, man. Let's get the open panel started.
This is the first time we got backstage, but I've seen them give amazing takes over on Uncle Freezy's channel, over on Bloran's Tears. So they are known in the Knicks space and on still Knicks fans as well. We got Mets 2128 backstage. Mr. Met, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out before I bring you up. My guy is ready to go. I don't want to bring him up and he got cereal on his lips. I think that's a bad look. First time. Yeah. So I'm going to bring my guy up right now. Mr. Met, how are you doing? First time on the open panel. How you feeling?
Nervous. I mean, one can't deny that last night's win can be Pyrrhic in a sense, depending on how long Jalen is out for. I mean, what's the damage? Nerve contusion?
Let's hope.
So far, that's what they say.
Yeah. So far, yeah.
Why do I have a feeling that's just sugarcoating it? I mean, I've said this with OG. I've said it with Randle. I mean, with Mitch, they were straight with it because you knew he gets injured on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
It was also early in the season with Mitch, too.
But I'm just saying he does have a habit of getting being labeled a glass cannon, does he not?
Especially in the past, yeah, absolutely. But when it comes back to last night's game, right? Yes, Jalen Brunson went out. Hopefully the injury is a very minor injury. But the takeaways from last night's game, the triple-double from Josh Hart, Deuce McBride emerging himself as a solid backup option as that backup point guard. How do you feel when it comes to the team like that from that perspective and going forward until the other guys get back, Matt?
Being blunt, I'm basically nervous. These injuries, anyone who's heard me over on Blorange or when I call in on Legion of Knicks podcast after games,
shout out Guillermo.
I have an intense love-hate relationship with our tin man of a coach.
Go ahead, Phil. I'll throw it over to Phil before we circle back up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say is I totally understand. There are things that a lot of us are, we celebrate, but we also critique and get frustrated with certain things that Tibbs does. But at the end of the day, when we kind of sit back and look and get past our bias and we look at the fact that our guys are not even the guys that are playing the most minutes in the NBA, it's hard to go, oh, it's a minute thing, but then look and go, oh, but those guys play more minutes and they're not injured, So it's hard to just go and blame Tibbs and say, oh, it's minutes, and then go to like our law room and, oh, we're going to build this case against Tibbs. He plays guys astronomical minutes. And then we start gathering all the data and we're like, oh, crap, these guys aren't playing the most minutes. that kind of destroys our whole case right there. So at the end of the day, I understand that, yes, he does play a lot of minutes for these players, but it's not all the minutes. But also at the end of the day, I've said this before, as a player yourself, you also have to keep track of your body. Like you do. You need to take some kind of responsibility for your body. And so some of these guys that are like, oh, yeah, you know, I was playing on it. It wasn't that bad. And then it led to a bigger injury or this, that, or whatever. As a player, you need to be able to say when you can't do it. Because the only person, like if I go outside right now, we're in the same house. Me, Hector, Jigga, we're all staying at the Airbnb. If I'm in this room and I go out there and all of a sudden my tooth starts hurting and I have a giant toothache, but I don't tell any of these guys, and we go and we're celebrating even more for Jigga's birthday. Hector gives me another piece of cake. Hector gives me this. Jigga,
I don't give you nothing.
Shut your mouth. Jigga gives me, you know, some Sour Patch Kids or whatever, and I eat them. I can't go, man, my tooth is hurting. Freaking Hector and Jigga gave me all this candy, and now it's hurting even more. Like, no, like that's on me.
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah.
one
Well, you know,
I think
the best takeaway from that is the fact that Phil likes to blame me and Celso for things that he do. But Matt, I want to ask you one time before we let you go, brother, because we got other people backstage ready to join us. We got a few games before everybody comes back, right? I think we got like 20-something games for the rest of the season as 21. Well. 21 for the rest of the season. What's the record for you that this team needs to have down the stretch out of the next 21 games in order for us to hold on to that 4th seed in the East, brother? What's the record?
13-8 at worst, 15-6 at best.
Copy. Hey, I'll take that. 13 at worst, I'll take that right now. But Mets, appreciate you coming up, brother. Again, just know it is an open door policy whenever you want to come up for the open panel. And I gotta ask you, you got any Pokemon Nintendo DS games? Because I see you got the cabinet back there with the video games.
Any? But nothing Pokemon related.
Oh, okay, all right. You ruined my day now. I got excited. Yeah, I was super excited. But I appreciate you, brother. Like I said, I always love seeing you when I catch you on Uncle Freezy's or when I see you on Uncle Ron with Still Knicks fans and with Guillermo as well with Legion of Knicks.
All right. Peace out.
Good job, brother.
I appreciate you, my guy. Sad guy, Mr. Matt, big time Met fan. Oh, and we got another one right here. Go ahead, so you can play it. Well, we can tell how Celso is feeling. Hopefully, we don't get hit with any copyright or anything like that. But we got to bring up our next guy to join us for the open panel before we close things up. We got Double A backstage. Double A, let me get a thumbs up and let me know you ready to rock out. Our guy, Double A, the fittest 60-year-old that we know.
What up,
fellas? Double A, we miss you. You all right? You okay?
Yeah. My dog, you see my dog in my picture with the Knicks.
Sorry about that, brother.
I had to put him to sleep Friday. Man.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it was very hurtful. But y'all in Florida, yeah?
Yes, sir. Can't wait to link up, bro.
Did my man Phil tell you I got tickets for the Yankees on Wednesday, same day as you guys, same section?
Hey, Double A is going to the game.
Now, Phil, you know I love you, right?
Yes, sir.
This gonna hurt.
He wrote it down. He looking at a list. He looked to the side and he looked at his list. He wrote shit down, Phil.
My notes.
Go ahead, Double A. Go ahead.
Now look, you're looking at Tibbs' average minutes of players. I agree. Okay, our players are not playing the highest minutes per game in the league. You're correct, but it's situational, Phil. It's like, come on, you're shoving Burks down our throat at point guard, and you're gonna pick yesterday when we ain't got Brunson and we ain't got nobody else to go on your. I'm not gonna curse. You're gonna go on your shit, man. Really? Huh?
Yo, wait, I love.
So what you gonna do?
I'm not gonna curse, and let me curse. Go ahead.
But what you gonna do? You know, you're gonna run Burks our man McBride into the ground. Now you're gonna put him on the DL. You couldn't play Burks 5 extra minutes and give Deuce an extra 5 minutes rest. Come on, man. And then
Hell no,
Isaiah,
we don't
then
want Burks playing.
Isaiah comes back from an Achilles injury. Isaiah's a big part of our team, bro. Just like you saying we need OG and Randle for the playoffs, we need Isaiah he's the reason why we're looking good. I'm telling you. He's the reason why we went on that winning streak. Just because of the threat. You can't double team anybody on our team when we got our full squad. You can't. Who are you going to double team off of? Randle, Brunson, OG, they're all killing you.
I'm right there with you.
And that's why I'm with it. But the thing is, Isaiah comes back. Achilles injury is not something that heals overnight, fellas. It takes time to heal. The man made a conservative effort to try to help us because we're shorthanded and come back and play. Yet you're freaking playing 40 minutes, 2 games in a row, and he goes down for 5 games. So tell me, how does that make sense? You'll find out in the playoffs because the same way he loses his mind in the regular season, under pressure situations, the same thing he's going to do in the playoffs, bro. We got a bomb-ass team, and I'm totally agreement with you. If we're full strength, we can beat and play with anybody, okay? But if our coach don't know how to coach more than 7 players at a time, we got a problem. And that's what happens when he goes into his panic attack. Oh, no. You know what I'm saying? And that hurts us, bro. All these injuries we got are fatigue-based injuries. It's from people playing. Josh Hart is still hurting. He's got a bad knee, but he's playing on it. He's still playing him 40 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So are you? No, I was gonna say just one question. You don't want him? Who are you? 40 because Hartenstein only played 25 minutes last night and only
not Hartenstein. I'm talking about Hart. Josh Hart.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Hart.
Josh Hart's been playing almost 40 minutes every night.
You brought up the Achilles injury, and then you said back-to-back 40-minute games. So I was like, oh, wait, what are you talking about? Okay.
No, that's when Hartenstein first went down, and he came back. He played him back-to-back against Houston, and I forget who we played after Houston. And then he went down again. That's what I'm saying. I see what you're saying.
Phil, that question was addressed to you, Phil, so you can answer that. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. None of us are saying that is not a Tibbs norm or a Tibbs routine. But my question is, when do players start taking some responsibility? Like, at the end of the day, if your body is giving out, it is your job to say, hey, I can't. My leg is starting to hurt again. Or I am feeling exhausted. Like, this is the thing. Like, what's can Tibbs force a player to play at the end of the day?
No, but you know what's funny, Phil? Josh Hart said the other day he wanted to come out the game, and he's looking at Tibbs, and Tibbs turns his head like he don't see him.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
All right, Phil.
Yes, and that can happen once. But if
no, it happens all the time. It happens all the time.
And says, "Yo, I'm done." Tibbs can't run around the arena the whole time. Like he
come on, bro. That's not Josh Hart's DNA. You know that. Josh Hart is not. Josh Hart's not
going to force he could get. Let's be honest.
And there's some players in the league that they've said it that if the coach allows them to play with one arm, they'll go out there and play with one arm. It's up to the coach at the end of the day to be responsible. And
especially when you got an injured player coming back, bro. Or with Achilles injury, an important player, one of your only 2 centers that you really have.
But Hart hasn't been playing more than 25 minutes. He hasn't
been playing. I'm saying the first time that he went down, that his Achilles was down. He came back.
But it wasn't an Achilles that happened with him the first time. What happened was he twisted his ankle. He twisted his ankle. It wasn't an Achilles injury.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Well, 40 minutes on a swole ankle. That makes sense too, right?
Yeah, it was he had a twisted ankle. It wasn't an Achilles. When he came back, that's when he injured it again, it was an Achilles.
Yeah, because he came back and tried to play 40 minutes on a messed up ankle. And when you compensate for an injury, then you hurt something else. If you're compensating for your ankle, you're gonna hurt your Achilles.
No, but no. But it was the same foot though. He injured his right foot, and it was his right Achilles that got injured. So it all correlates with each other. But I'm with you. We want to see these guys be healthy for the stretch run. But I think right now having Jalen, having these guys step up, I think this is crucial right now because, like I said, pressures makes diamonds. And right now is the perfect time to get the pressure for the backup players so they can build their confidence going into the postseason.
Right.
And we have no depth either. We have no depth. There's no depth.
And then Deuce, bro, he's showing that he should have been playing all along. I've been saying for years, Deuce should have been getting a couple of minutes. It wouldn't hurt playing in 5 or 7 minutes behind Brunson because Brunson plays most of the minutes anyway. He's going to hurt. Deuce ain't going to hurt us. He's got a decent shot and, decent defense.
One second, Double A. My fault. I'm gonna throw it over to you, Phil. I see we got one more person backstage, so I just want to acknowledge them so they know that we're gonna bring them up. Nelson, I see you backstage. So as soon as Phil's done, we're gonna give Double A one more take, his final take. We'll let Double A go, and we're gonna bring up Nelson, first time on an open panel, so he can close us out. Double A, I can't wait to link up with you Wednesday, and me and you could be.
Eddie gonna be there. Eddie gonna be there. Eddie gonna be there.
Any Yankee game, Double A. I'm out of Yankee, bro.
Damn, bro. We just smoke weed or something, bro.
Go ahead, allegedly. Go ahead.
Allegedly.
Go ahead, Phil. I'll let
for
you
people that do that.
So you can answer Double A and let Double A get one last take. Go ahead.
This one thing I want to say is, like, at the start of the year and all last season, you would hear me gripe about the minutes played and Tibbs's way of playing. Like, I was on that boat completely. But now we are at a point where we are at the bottom. Like, we have lost our main guys. Julius Randle is not here. Friggin' OG is not here. For a lot of time, like, other players were not here. So who plays at the end of the day? Like, there's going to be a lot of minutes, unfortunately, for these guys. Like, at this point, I can't use that same argument because I'm going to go, okay, like, we can't do this. We can't have this person playing 30 plus minutes. Well, okay, who's next? Who do we have? Like, who do we really have if the guys who take up our actual, like, star minutes are not available? And this is the thing is, like, yes, that's a lot of minutes for McBride to play all of a sudden. But we've been saying, give this guy an opportunity. I'd rather him get an opportunity where he's playing a little bit too much minutes to show Tibbs, hey, this guy should have been playing the whole time, than him not play enough minutes and not have those opportunities to actually shine. Because if you look, it wasn't Isaiah Hartenstein getting promoted to be this guy that really mattered to us until Mitch was gone. And now all of a sudden we're like, holy crap, this should have been something that we should have been doing a long time ago. So yes, it's unfortunate, but Isaiah Hartenstein would still be coming in for 18 to 20 minutes a game if Mitchell Robinson never, wasn't there. So yes, it's unfortunate that, we are at this point, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if McBride doesn't play and Burks goes back in there and has been a total dumpster fire these last few games, and we lose that game and we continue to fall in the seeding because of these moments, then we're going to complain about the fact that Burks should have never been in there. Like, let's be real. If, like, McBride comes out and he's not producing the way that he produced yesterday, and Burks goes in there and he's having a long Kane Pauly, let it rain moments where he's just throwing it off the backboard and airballing everything, and we lose that game against the Cavs, then our space would have been today, yo, Tibbs sucks. Like, the fact that he puts in his guy Burks when Burks sucks is an issue. So we have something to gripe about either way. Like, and that's the thing, is we would complain either way. I would be on that Burks complaining moment if Burks was the one playing those minutes, because I've hated watching Burks play these last games. I've hated it. Take your notes.
Phil, I was about to say, Phil, you better watch. He got his notepad out. And the one thing I want to say,
you done.
I throw it over
Let me
to
get him,
Eddie.
Heck. Let me get him, Heck.
I'll say this one time, and I throw it over to you, and then throw it over to Eddie. But we gotta throw it over to you so you get your last take because we got Nelson to bring up. I just want to say this, Knicks fans. We went a whole season with Tom Thibodeau shoving Alex Burke down our throat as the starting point guard. He didn't want to start Emmanuel quickly, but he's giving Deuce McBride more minutes off the bench instead of Alec Burks. That should go and show you something. Go ahead, Double A, with your last take so we can bring up Nelson to join us in on the conversation as well. Go ahead.
This is why you get 15 players on an NBA team. And this is why your coach should have faith in more than 7 players or 8 players on your team for situations like this, Phil. For just like situation like this. You're saying, who do we got? We had Obi Toppin's brother on the bench. I mean, what's wrong with throwing these guys in for 2-3 minutes before the half or before a quarter end just to give somebody a blow? What I'm saying, Phil, guys are dropping, bro. Guys are dropping because they're exhausted. There's no excuse to overplay and play somebody onto the injury list because you say you don't have nobody and you got 15. If those guys are not doing their shit, then guess what? You got roster construction issues. The guys that should be on your bench should be guys that you should rely on, third string, whatever. But I'm saying, you could have put Toppin in for 2-3 minutes.
But the reason
Toppin is trash, though.
I was gonna say the reason why
we don't know that, Eddie, because he hasn't played. You're saying that, but we don't know that.
No, you know that because of where he was selected in the draft and where he went and what he did in college. He didn't even show it at the college.
How many second round picks have become stars in the NBA?
Very few.
Only one.
Huh?
Only one.
Really?
There's only been one, and that's Jokic. Name me another second round pick that's been a star in the NBA.
I have to look up, but there has been.
There have been.
Where was DeMar DeRozan picked?
DeMar DeRozan was picked right after we picked Jordan Hill in the draft.
Okay.
He was
right after. You remember that?
Right after. I remember. I looked this.
I know there's been more second round picks that have been stars.
There's only been one MVP that's been a second round player, and that's been Jokic. After that, there has been none.
Now, star or MVP, those are different. Like here in the chat, someone's talking about Manu Ginobili, who is one of the
Manu
best
Ginobili, but he came out of Europe. He didn't come out of college. Yeah. Jokic came out of Europe as an established player.
But it doesn't matter. You're not playing in the NBA.
But that's not NBA experience. But the European League is an established. We're not gonna. The European League is not the AAU that's down the block. We're not going to trash the European League. That's the second best league behind the NBA right now. So these are guys that came into the league already established in the league that they were at. Draymond Green, you could look at him and say that was a guy that became an all-star. But is that a franchise play to build your team around?
I got you, man.
It's a piece.
The 10 best second-round picks in NBA history. You ready? Chris Middleton, Gilbert Arenas, Paul Millsap, Maurice Cheeks, Tony Kukoc, Marc Gasol, Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman. Shall I keep going?
Keep going. When was the last time? Hold on. Double A. Stop real quick. Out of that list that you just named, the only person that's relevant over the past 10 years is Joker for winning an MVP. Draymond Green is not the same player he was 10 years ago as he is right now.
No, of course not.
He was
drafted 10 years ago.
But you just
what I said was there have been players picked not in the first round, in the second round, that have become great players in the NBA. We can't tell if a guy is going to be garbage without playing, man. That's what we do a lot as Knicks fans.
Double A. Hold on, real quick, Phil. Every player that you just mentioned did something either in college or either in Europe. Jacob Toppin hasn't even touched shit in college. He didn't do anything in college. He was never nominated or he was never.
What did Arenas do in college?
Gilbert Arenas was a top player in college. The reason why he fell to the second round was because of his maturity on his scouting report. That's why he fell to the second round. Scouts said if he was mature, he would have been a lottery pick.
Scouts are right.
So here's the thing. I agree with you on this, Double A. I do believe you can find diamonds in the rough in the second round. And I was a Toppin guy. I personally do believe that Toppin can be good. I think he needs more time in the G League, developing like McBride and Sims did. I don't think he's one of those off the bat ready to come in and play.
No.
Here's the thing, though, is what I'm trying to say is all across the league and other teams and other fan bases say we have one of the most depth rosters from top to bottom.
Yep.
And then we're saying we need more. So other players are looking at other teams are looking at our roster and saying, you guys have the most depth. And as Knicks fans, we're going, we need more. This guy Tibbs. I understand that. But look, some of these injuries can't be put on Tibbs. Like when Bojan comes in and gets injured after being a Knick for like 38 seconds of his career, you can't say that this is just a Tibbs situation. Like some of it just sucks. Like at the end of the day, some of it just sucks. Mitchell Robinson has had like injury history. Like that's just unfortunately, if you look at the trajectory of the NBA over the years, guys of that height, when they get injuries on their feet, it tends to be a constant.
It lingers.
Yeah, it lingers.
Yeah, it lingers.
So I understand. I understand some of this stuff. But at the end of the day, look at the way Jalen Brunson plays. Love Jalen Brunson. That's my guy. This is a guy that is pretty much going in and beating up his body night in and night out.
Yes.
Tibbs is not in control of Jalen Brunson's body. Jalen Brunson comes out of a freaking fight with Mike Tyson every single night as a point guard. And that's one of his strengths is that he's not willing to back down to nobody, no matter how big they are. That's going to take a toll on someone's body. Like, it's just going to happen. Like, unfortunately, it's going to happen. Whether you're playing 20 minutes running into a bull's cage, or you go 40 minutes running into a bull's cage. You're running into a bull's cage. Like, doesn't matter how many times you slap a lion, you're slapping a lion. That's what he's doing. And so it's going to take a toll. So, yes, some of it is Tibbs, but some of it is just the way the body works and what you do to it.
That's basically all it is. And appreciate everybody that's in the chat. And even when it comes to like Jalen Brunson, he was taken in the second round. But what did he do in college? He was a national player of the year. He led his team to a championship. Jacob Toppin didn't do anything of that.
But that don't mean he's garbage, Pet. That's what I'm saying. But that don't mean he's garbage.
But Double A, what has he showed you? What has he look?
What did he show me? He showed me.
Double A, hold on, Double A.
Okay.
Give me a sec. Take your Phantom and put that to the side. Put yourself
it's a side. New York first.
It's on your shirt. It's on your shirt. Take your jersey off and put it to the side. If you're Tom Thibodeau, right? If you want to win Double A, if you want to win the game, you're going into the half down by 7 points. Do you really want to put Jacob Toppin in the game and be down by 14 points going into the half, or down by 7 points going into the half?
I would have to put confidence on a player if he's on my team.
So you're willing to go into the half down by 14 instead of down by 7?
if I'm a player,
that's the question.
I'm a player. I said, how do you know we're going to go down? You're already putting the guy to fail. This is what I'm saying. You're already saying he's going to fail. How do you know he's going to fail? Jacob Thompson has a great three-point shot. He's not his brother. He plays defense. This guy's young. Yeah, he's not NBA ready. No, heck, but he's on our roster.
Off the track record. They play no defense in the G League, Double A. I'm talking about college. He wasn't a 40% three-point shooter in college.
No, defense.
But you brought up his three-point shooting, Double A.
But he is a good three-point shooter.
In the G League, when they play no defense, Phil can hit 50% in the G League. They play no defense down there, Double A. They play no defense in the G League.
So that means you can shoot.
Yoka Perto. Who is that guy that we got from San Antonio, Eddie, a couple of years ago? Who is that guy we got from that center? Joka Perto. What was his name?
Porto, the one guy that went to Toronto?
Yes, he was in our G League looking like Jokic, averaging triple doubles, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. He's a backup center in the NBA at best. They play no defense down in the G League, AA.
And it doesn't matter.
You still got to hit the shot, though.
This isn't the bottom line, though.
But it's different settings. You're in an empty arena. You're not playing in front of 20,000 people. You're playing in front of 1,000 people with nobody guarding you. It's just an open gym.
Tom Thibodeau said it, and he said it on an interview. He says if a player is on an NBA roster, he's a great player. He's a good player. Mm-hmm. If a person makes it to the NBA, he's not a scrub at basketball. But the thing is we want a star right away, and we can't do that, And what I'm saying, Heck, is look, you can instill or distill confidence in a player. If I'm sitting there and I'm a backup small forward, right? And we got our small forwards, our starting small forward goes down. Our backup small forward goes down. Now we're down to the third string, and I'm there. And you rather play this guy 47 minutes than give me 2-3 minutes, and I'm working in practice and I'm hurting? Because my confidence is going down.
Because he gives us the better chance to win. You remember Kenny Wooten? Mm-hmm. You remember when Kenny Wooten was in the G League and he was a phenomenal defender and he was averaging 5 to 10 blocks a game?
I don't disagree.
Remember when we lost him and he went to go? Where's Kenny Wooten right now? He's not even in the league anymore. He's not even in the G League anymore.
They're not the same guy. They're not the same guy, Heck. That's what I'm saying. Give each and every person their own chance. We can't just go by this. That's all I'm saying, man. Give a guy a chance before you trash him. And all I'm saying is I'd rather than run Deuce McBride. Phil, in 42 minutes, he can show what he can show in 47. Am I right? So what's wrong with giving Alex Burks, who you've been shoving down our throat all year and last year at point guard, give him 5 minutes, whether it's 2 minutes before the half or 2 minutes, just to rest the guy. Because he goes down, we're hurt.
You know why I don't give Alec Burks those minutes? And Phil, you're muted. I'm not sure if you know that. It's because I want to win the game. And since we got Alex Burks back, Deuce McBride shows me that we have a better chance of winning the game with Deuce McBride in the game than Alec Burks.
Can I ask you one last question?
Go ahead. And then we got to let you go because we got one more. Oh, wait.
I'll see you tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
Put it this way. We win the game and Deuce McBride goes down. What happens? Now we're stuck. Now we lose 5 in a row because we down Brunson and McBride. This is what I'm saying, Heck. You got to pick your fights. I understand we're going for the win. But we got to look at the stretch.
Put Alec Burke in the game anyway. We're going to lose the game anyway. Because Alec Burke, what has he showed you since coming back? He hasn't showed us anything.
So you're saying Alex Burks is garbage then?
I would rather have Deuce McBride with 1 foot than Alex Burke on that court, AA.
Wow.
Because defensively and offensively, he hasn't shown us anything. Alec Burke in his first game had how many turnovers?
Yeah.
And this is what I'll say to end it, AA. I was completely open and tried to be open-minded when it came to the Burks thing.
Me too.
My problem with Burks is not so much Burks, but Tibbs will sit him. We've seen that as of last night, but I don't think Tibbs will correct him. I don't think the comfortability of that relationship is where it will be, hey, you actually are trash tonight. Do not be shooting those 3-pointers. Or this, that, whatever. I don't know how much coaching goes into that relationship. So for me, I would rather dodge the bullet and him not get the minutes because I've seen him ruin what we've had going when he's gotten back in. Because it's a very Alec Burks-centered game of basketball for some reason. And I don't like it. Where I do agree with you, to a point on those injuries, we talked about that, but I can't blame Tibbs for everything because the body is the body. You ask to get punched, you can't complain about being punched. But at the end of the day, I do side with you on giving players a chance to prove that they are not worth something. Like for me, I don't think it's a point to have a guy like Jacob Toppin on your roster for this amount of time and never see what he has. We're starting to see Sims come to himself a little more in this season. I personally wish it didn't take 3 seasons for us to actually give this guy a chance to become something. So I agree with you on the Toppin thing. I would like to see Toppin get, 10, 6 minutes a game, just to see if he can be anything. I would rather give Toppin 6 minutes than I would Burke 6 minutes, if I'm completely honest at this point. But at the end of the day, I don't control, what the coach does. I don't control, what happens. But the only thing that I was saying from the get-go is we play a style of basketball where Jalen Brunson beats himself up. Something like that's going to happen.
He's like a pinball going in there.
Yeah. You've heard all of the announcers. You've heard all of the commentators. You've heard all the guys from Shaq to Barkley talk about, hey, he's an elite guy, elite player, but that body's going to catch up eventually, the amount of charges that he takes. Even though it's a leg, think of all the charges. You're keeping your legs as solid as possible while you're taking those charges. Then you get hit by a full body gentleman. Yeah. Your legs are going to take that heat because they're the ones that are trying to keep you firm so that you draw that charge. So I can't just look at the minutes and go, yo, it's a minute thing, but I understand where you're at when it comes to the Toppin thing. We're there. I'd like to see the kid get some chances, some shine. He was talked about very well in the beginning of the season by Tibbs. So I would like to see some of that come to fruition. We'll see what happens, but I appreciate you. Take your notes.
Appreciate you, Double A.
Combos. Talk to you
later. See you Wednesday.
Later.
See you Wednesday.
Later. And I'm going to just add, there's a reason why he went undrafted. Nelson, if you could just turn your camera on, let me get a thumbs up so I can bring my guy Nelson up first time to the panel. And then we got Jay Boogie backstage as well. We got to bring up Nelson. Nelson, my guy, welcome to the conversation. How are you doing this morning, my guy?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing? Y'all good?
Chilling, bro. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
I see you, Hector, man. Hector Nick, man, Hart.
There you go, baby. There you go. It's my vacation shade. I don't know how to act, bro.
Nah, of course, man. Of course. But I mean, you guys had some great conversations about, the Knicks, what's going on with the games and minutes. But I kind of want to touch on the Tibbs minutes thing.
Go ahead.
I have grievances against Tibbs. I ain't like Tibbs. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wanted him fired last year more so because even we talk about rotations. I hate the hockey rotations. Yeah. But it was more basketball. Like, why are you double teaming Jimmy Butler? He is not Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Amongst other things. But when it comes to now and what's happened the last month and a half, like I said in the chat, we're beating teams shorthanded. Nobody talks about it. Then you beat the Knicks, and it's like, oh, well, they beat the Knicks. Well, they can't do anything. And it's like, what do you expect the Knicks to do with what they have? They're down 3 starters. Some games they're down 4 starters.
Yep.
You can only play so many guys. It's not, oh, we got to rest guys. It's like, well, you also need to win games because you also need to give yourself some playoff seeding. So you kind of have to make a decision of whether, all right, we need to win this game, because then the irony of all this is what happens is we lose. Imagine we lose this game, right? We lost last night. And then April 17th comes and we find out our seeding, and it's like, oh man, we should have beat the Cavs on March 3rd. This is what happens. So unfortunately, Tibbs is in a corner where he can only play what he plays. You can't, this isn't golf. You can't mulligan a game. Mm-hmm. You can't be like, all right, cool. Like, yo, yeah, we'll get them in, and we'll get them on April. I think we play them one more time, or are we done? I'm not 100% sure.
We're done with the Cavs.
We're done with the Cavs. All right, thank you, Eddie. So if we weren't done, oh yeah, we'll just get them on April 2nd. Like, no, every game counts now. Now we're at that point where, look what happened recently. Like, we lost a couple games, and we were the 2nd seed for one day, and then we went down to 4. Granted, fortunately, we only fell to 4, but the Knicks, God forbid, do this. Oh man, yeah, let's just rest guys and let's just go on this mulligan streak and whatever. We'll just give them some games. And then when we're in the 8th seed, the same people saying that are gonna be like, oh man, we should just prepare for the draft. And it's like, you gotta be in it to win it. You gotta do something. Like I as much as I try to be fair and optimistic about certain things, but with this Tips thing, the guy is doing what he can with what he's got.
Yeah.
And to me, this last month, a month and a half, granted, we're down 3 starters. We were down our whole starting lineup last night. Let's really talk about it.
Oh God, yeah.
And
Talk about it, bro.
the Knicks and Cavs went band for band on injured players, and the Knicks still won.
Mm-hmm. Nelson, real quick, right? I just say this on the timeline last night after Jalen Brunson got injured. The amount of Knicks fans that was saying, "This is it. We just got to shoot for the draft now. Don't even try to get into the postseason. Just go for the draft." Go ahead, Nelson. My fault. I just wanted to bring that up. It was annoying last night. Go ahead, brother. Keep cooking.
So, funny enough, I had missed the first play because I was in the middle of like working on something, and I realized the game was on. So shout out to Sean and Brew and their playback. I usually watch the game with them, and I saw it and I'm like, oh please. They said it's non-contact, and I'm like, I expect the worst when it's non-contact.
Same.
But when I watched the play, I'm like, that doesn't look like a non-contact injury.
Mm-hmm.
And when they said he bumped knees, I'm like, that makes sense, because usually when you, as somebody who's played pickup, when you bump knees, you play maybe 10 seconds and then you realize like, wait, my knee, like I can't move.
Mm-hmm.
So fortunately, it didn't look as serious as it does. And he'll probably, if he misses Tuesday, tomorrow against Atlanta, he'll probably play the game after. Maybe they'll sit him for the week. I don't know. But I say that to say, and I'm digressing, but to go back to the guys that are playing, Tibbs has to make tough decisions, and we know that. But when it comes to after this season is over, this does nothing but help Dante DiVincenzo. This does nothing but help Precious Achiuwa. This does nothing but help Deuce McBride.
Yep.
This does nothing but help, Sims. The list goes on. Because even when those guys are playing limited minutes, they can go into the playoffs. If they play Cleveland, they're like, yo, we beat this guys without Jalen Brunson in our starting lineup. We beat this team without everybody. We beat that team without everybody. We gave this team a tough game, and it was just because they had an unconscious quarter. My fault.
We had a four. My fault, Nelson. We had a $4.99 super chat from Knicks Alive, and I apologize. Don't want you to think we forgot your super chat. He says, I don't agree. Y'all said the same about McBride. Stop. Y'all said McBride a G League 3-point shooter now. Look, Jacob scoring 30 points plus a game, just like Duke. I'll save this for later after Nelson finished giving his take, because when it comes to Deuce McBride, I was a big proponent of Deuce McBride coming out of college and in the G League. So go ahead, Nelson. My fault. I just wanted him to know that we didn't skip over his super chat. Go ahead, bro.
No, and I'm just saying that I think this gives nothing, and I've been saying it for weeks. This gives nothing, like Phil has seen me say, this gives nothing but those 7-8 guys who come off the bench and may not play that much in the playoffs. It gives them confidence that even when they get those limited roles, they're going to be ready.
Yep.
Against whoever they play against. And even with Deuce, like 2 years ago when everybody's like, oh, play Deuce, I didn't have confidence he could give me a 30 to 40 minute game like he did last night.
Same.
But now this year he's doing it on a consistent basis when his number gets called. Whether it's 10 minutes or 48, he does that. And, even with guys like Josh Hart, who are getting that confidence. So as annoying as it is, and with the circumstances, any 8 out of 10 teams you give the circumstances that the Knicks have gotten through this year, they would have said, oh, fuck it, we're going to play for, excuse my language, we're going to play for the draft. We don't care. Tank, who draft picks. Instead of looking at the first round of the playoffs, they're looking at the first round of the lottery.
Yeah.
So I give a lot of credit to the team, top to bottom, and even Tibbs to a degree. As much as I have my grievances against Tibbs with certain things that he does, it looks like there's I know everybody uses this word, but a continuity with him, with the front office guys, with the players. There's a little, this synergy with all of them. And, I think this does nothing but help them when it comes to the end of March going into April, when we do have to give guys like Burks and Bogey some time to adjust. And then we're going to have to give, we have to give Randle and guys grace to understand who they're playing with. The team changed a bit, and I think they'll be fine, man. But as strenuous as this schedule could be, I actually am happy for, like you said, like I said, Deuce and Precious and, the guys who don't get that many, who aren't going to get that many minutes or who aren't were expected to play. the brunt of these games with guys out and have just been contributing every night against starting players, against all-stars, against guys fully lineups. So I give a ton of credit to this team, man. This team can fight, and I will always stand and root for my teams, especially when they fight the way the Knicks have done this year.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Phil.
To your point, man, anyone who knows me knows that I'm not a company man, knows that, the whole reason I had to have a whole new Twitter name this season. Shut your mouth. Anyway, little crazy Hector. Anyway, anyone who knows me knows I'm not a company man. The whole reason I had to start another Twitter was because Twitter disabled me because all I was doing was posting Fire Tibbs posts multiple times a day, and it ended up locking my account. So I had a major problem with things that Tibbs was doing, but I can't sit back and let the man get crucified for everything when he's not in control of everything. Like the things that he does wrong, I'm going to call out. Do I think that, Randle should have been playing the amount of minutes that Randle was playing when there was already, understanding that he was dealing with some issues with his leg, with his shoulder? No, if I hear that one of my players is having an issue, I want to make sure that I'm not, beating a dead horse. Is he responsible for Jalen Brunson, loving the fact that, every night that he goes to play, he's freaking Brad Pitt in Fight Night? No, I can't blame Tibbs for the way that Jalen Brunson plays. I love the way Jalen Brunson plays, but a lot comes with it. So at the end of the day, I feel like Knicks fans are going to crucify the man, whether he would have gotten the L or the W last night. Too many minutes for McBride. Okay, let's throw in Burks. Oh, we lose. Oh, this guy sucks. Fire the coach. We need a new coach. He's getting us L's against a Cleveland Cavalier team that Donovan Mitchell's not playing. It's just like, holy crap, which is it? So for me, yes, there's still issues that I have with Tibbs. I've said it before. He's doing great. Do I think that he's the guy that I want for the next 5 years? No, not really. But I also got to give props where it's due and not blame him for things that he shouldn't be blamed for.
Just to let everybody know, and Celso, he could attest to this. Phil was just reading all of his messages that he sent out group chat talking about Tom Thibodeau over the past 2 years. Go ahead, Celso.
Eddie, I realized you were supposed to go about 10 minutes ago, bro. Love you. Let me let you get out of here. I'm gonna swap out with Eddie.
Love you, Eddie. Appreciate you, Eddie.
Comes out at 3:30. Later, bro. There we go.
Guy,
Nelson, my playback gang. What up, my guy?
Oh, we got a little delay.
Oh, my internet.
Oh yeah, I think Nelson. Yeah, I think Nelson.
I was like, fine, don't
bring
talk to me,
Nelson down. Nelson, appreciate you with the fire take. I know we got Jay Boogie backstage. Jay Boogie, how can we end the show without the closer?
You know what? Before you even bring Jay Boogie, let me connect some dots, and then we're gonna let the closer do what the closer do. My Jets fans in the chat, if you guys are free tonight, the premiere of the Jets nightcap with myself, my boy Gunny, my homegirl Abby. We got Leo Valentin on the show tonight, kicking off 9 p.m. Eastern. It is the premiere. So if you are a Jets fan, you just love New York football and want to talk some ish, tune in tonight, 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, we are kicking off the Yankee spring training. We got our boy Scott Braun from Foul Territory coming through. We're going to kick off that tomorrow night. We got a lot of content around that. I'll stop talking, smash the like, hit the subby, buy a coffee. Wait, I was working on a dope intro, bro. You killed my flop.
Wait. But I want to give Boogie his time, but I want you guys and the chat to help me out, okay? I'm going to share something real quick. I can't figure out what I want the front of the hoodie to be. It's either going to be the front or the back, so I got to swap it out, but y'all can help me out here, all right? So I'm going to go to the product real quick. So this right here.
Shout out to Cheesy Soul Cakes in the chat. Cheesy Soul Cakes. You may be late. You may be late, but guess what? You were still great, my guy.
All right, guys. So I need to know if I make the words the back of the hoodie and make the design the front of the hoodie, or if I switch it around.
The back of the hoodie with the glue and that on the front of the hoodie. Or you can have two versions. One with the glue guy on top and the wording underneath him, and then the other one as you just had it front and back.
Yeah, it was too busy with the one that's why I wanted it. It was too busy with the words underneath it.
Okay, well if you already haven't. All
right, take a vote. People in the chat, let us know. Glue guy in the front, glue guy in the back. Now, can I get back to my awesome intro?
Go ahead.
Before I do, Knicks Live, shut up! Sorry.
Shout out to Knicks
Mega,
Live.
what it do, my guy? Mega's in the building. Double A, we're live on stream. I will plead the fifth. The closer, the one, the only, our boy Jay Boogie.
Salute. 3 capital S's. Blessed health, happiness on this beautiful Monday. Hope everybody in the greatest form of health, man. Anything you're going through, we don't pray that you go through it. We pray that you get through it, man. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat coming off of this beautiful, amazing weekend. And I hope you woke up feeling like, yo, dag, I don't want to get up. I hope you woke up feeling like, yeah, I got a job to go to, because it is monthly time, bill time, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to these guys always doing what they doing, you know what I'm saying, for the morning brew. And when I say brew, I ain't talking about the drink. I'm talking about the morning that still be brewing, you know what I'm saying? We cooking up everything right here, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to that hoodie you got going on, you know what I'm saying? That look like amazing. I'm so proud of you guys doing what y'all doing. But before I go any further, hey, yo, Hector, let me hold them shades so I can step into a Slim Jim. I might get on my get on my Macho Man Randy Savages, man. But I just want to say real quick, you know what I'm saying, to the fan base, man, to the fan base, yo, we got to let the people do their jobs. We got to let people handle their business and do what we doing. We so quick, you know what I'm saying, to put out narratives and we don't even know what the answers be. I seen so many people, he tore his ACL, he tore his MCL, oh, his Melissa is gone, or his calf jammed up into his kneecap. Man, let them people do the doctorate and tell us what's going on. That's what they get paid for, and that's what they get to do. I know we all got our own assumptions. I know we want assumption and say something about something and hope when they do it, you know what I'm saying, we can come back and say, I said that before, or remember I said that. I know we all great, we got great minds in the game, but let them people do their jobs and say what's going on before we start saying what's not even totally happening, you know what I'm saying? So shout out, you know what I'm saying, for the blessings of God. I pray for everybody yesterday, first Sunday. I pray for everybody in the world, especially all the Knicks fans and my family, you know, everybody on the team. I pray for everybody yesterday. We can all be in the greatest form of health, you know what I'm saying? But Tom going to be Tom, and Tom is going to do him, and Tom is going to do what he feel like what's the right move for this team. I understand you people want to put Toppin in on that, but he's still developing Precious. He's still developing, you know what I'm saying, Deuce. And shout out to Deuce. I put in the text, you know what I'm saying, a little bit earlier. Tell me the difference between Deuce in his second year and Quickly in his fourth year. Let me know how far off is he so we can find out where Deuce stands as far as his game. This is what I want to know. Shout out to Deuce for coming in, only spending 1 minute on the bench. Shout out to Deuce for always being ready to go, no matter, you know what I'm saying, if he's playing today, if he's on the card to even play. Shout out to Deuce just always being mentally tough, mentally ready to go, you know what I'm saying? And he's going to give you his whole complete effort every time he's on the court. He's going to make some mistakes. He's going to make some errors. But you know what I'm saying? The mistakes and errors don't count for me when you're doing the first time. When you come back and you don't do when you do them secondly over and over, then you got problems. You know what I'm saying? That guy learns each and every time he's on the floor, and he puts his hard effort and his hard work into the game. You know what I'm saying? And he's getting better and better. Just let him continue on developing. We let IQ develop. You know what I'm saying? Let Deuce develop. He got his money. He's good. That's a good check. You know what I'm saying? But these guys that's coming in these games, man, the next game, I promise you, Donovan Mitchell's going to play the next game. You know why? Because what happened with our bench players? We got a whole bench squad out there playing, man. A whole bench squad went into an unknown territory. You know what I'm saying? When they yell, boom, 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 what you gonna do? What we're gonna do? We're gonna bring Biggie in that building. Armed and Dangerous is what we're gonna do. Bring Biggie in that building and take it over and shut them down for the whole year. Let them know, yeah, now we got the tiebreaker. Don't let us catch you and get in that spot. with our backups. You know what I'm saying? See, these guys was getting a whole lot of experience playing against starters, and they're just backups. So can you just imagine what they're going to do when everybody come back playing against this against the bench teams? You know what that means is them guys that's going out on the other team to get on the bench, they're not going to be able to sit long because these guys are so prepared and used to playing against starters. They got to hurry up, put them guys back in the game, and that's when we start wearing and tearing everybody down. That's when the anaconda starts sweeping around your body and squeezing you with that tongue. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want. That's what we have going on. All we knew, everybody know the same cycle, same answer is health, 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 health. If we get healthy, health, health, health. Everybody should be praying for health, health, health. Because what's going on right now don't even mean nothing. When teams beat us, you know what they say? Oh, they ain't even healthy, so you really ain't beat nobody. But when we beat teams that, you know what I'm saying, they got a roster, you know what they say? They got problems. They got issues. They not ready. You know what I'm saying? Let us get prepared and continue on getting ready for the rest of the season. We in that stretch run, and we about to handle our business. Please believe in the team. Please believe in Tom. Please, you got to believe in, you know what I'm saying, Leon Rose. And Leon Rose going to stop. When he sees something they working, he go back and trying to make something else. He believes in his team. Tom believes in his team. I know I believe in this team. And if you're a Knicks fan, you should believe in this team. Only thing stopping and holding us back is health. They already calling us the LA Clippers of the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to see the LA Clippers healthy in the West, just like they don't want to see the Knicks healthy in the East. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Matter of fact, it'd be a lovely thing to see the LA Clippers in the New York Knicks in the finals. I don't care nothing about Boston. I don't care nothing about Tatum. And my man said it earlier. Hector said it earlier. I trust and believe in Jason and Jalen Brunson going down the stretch over Tatum, because all he's gonna do is pull up a jump shot. He's always crying to the referee. When you get in that playoff basketball, boom, we're gonna start smack you upside your head with that Xavier. Bam, slam you upside your head with that Charles Oakley. Bam, where you rest in peace, slap you upside your head with that Anthony Mason. Playoff basketball is how we get down and how we play. And that's what's going to get us to where we need to be. Salute, salute, salute. Everybody have a great week, you know what I'm saying? Be proud and appreciate yourself in life, man. Be proud and appreciate yourself, man.
Building. I love it right here. Alden Dangerous. Ain't too many that can bang with us.
I got one question to ask. I got one question to ask.
Wait, hey, did you see this? Did we
hold
talk
on?
about this?
Wait, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. Go ahead, bring it up. You already brought it up on the
We're
screen.
seeing good news on Jalen Brunson's injury status. No MRI is needed. Big Neck Energy threw it out there. I saw others on there.
Nice.
Great
So make
news.
sure you guys keep on checking the news when it comes to that. And I got one question, Boogie. What you gonna do, brother, when the Boogie Mania runs wild on you?
I mean, I'm sorry, guys. That's the perfect spot to end it right there. We got that, brother. Hey, brother, way to go, Jay Boogie. We love you, my guy. Appreciate
Love
you,
you,
bro.
Peace, y'all.
Later, homie.
This is a dope episode. Episode.
You know, it's always dope when you look at the clock. You're like, oh shit, it's 2 hours later. Oh my god. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. If you're in the Tampa area, give us a shout. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Insta. We are out here for the entire week. We got a lot of Yankees content coming. Yes, we also have Mets content coming. We got the rookies that'll be out this way. Eddie's meeting up with Brandon Pockris. We are trying to bring spring training coverage from both New York teams. But the shows still go on, guys. We got our show this Wednesday. Our boy Jerry's here. We got our show Friday. We got a lot of guests lined up for the entire week. All content coming to you. Take us out.
I was gonna say, and just hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that like button. Maybe in the middle of the night, you may see us go live for no ass reason because we're bored and we want to play Uno or Dominoes or pool in the house. I ain't gonna do none of that because I don't do none of that. But Phil, what's your last words for the people? And then we wrap up and we get out of here.
Last words, the Glue Guy shirts are officially available online right now. So the link I will drop right now in the chat, morningbrewsports.com/merch.
Yeah, and Wiz just said it. We need 5 people. Come on, smack it.
2 likes away from 100 likes on the stream.
Let's
so
go.
if you're watching us, smack the like button, hit that subscribe button.
And
when
then
it
go
comes
pick
to
up either a
subscribers,
shirt, a hoodie, or a crew neck for Glue
or
Guy.
buy us a coffee.
We also got our switching edition that Jigga's wearing right there of Jalen Brunson, mighty number Captain Clutch, number 11. So
Got the
head on
OG
over, pick
Corp.
up a mug. We got OG Corp shirts as well. So do us a favor, pick up some merch. We truly appreciate it. The more you guys are wearing it around, the more people see it, the more exposure it gives us, and the more people around your guys' neighborhoods that can actually be part of this community.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for the support. And yeah, we look forward to
at
shopping with y'all this week.
3,751 subscribers,
Let's go.
49 away from 38. We're going to get that this week. And Celso, until next time, what is it?
Deuces!
Deuces!